Hey guys, this is Daniel Alley, and today I want to talk to you about rejection. Because a lot of times people deal with rejection in a lot of areas of their life, and they don't know how to bounce back. They might not know how to deal with it, and they don't know how to move forward because rejection is hard. Now, obviously, I've been rejected by thousands of people, probably even millions of people, because I've reached millions of people, and sometimes the people you reach, you don't know if they reject you or not because they don't say anything. But either way, rejection, whether it's face to face, whether it's silent, is difficult to deal with. A lot of times you could feel it through the vibes of other people. Other times you could just see it on their face. Sometimes they tell you directly. But either way, you have to learn how to deal with rejection. The biggest thing that I would tell you to think about is every time you're rejected, every time you hear no, it gets you closer to a yes. Every time you feel like you're failing, it gets you closer to success. If you pay attention to what that actually means. If you understand the deeper meaning. If you understand the fundamental truth. And a lot of times people get shaken up because they don't understand that truth. Maybe they get rejected and then they crack, or they stumble, or they break because they take it personally. But there's something else I want you to remember. It's called Q-tip. QTIP. Quit taking it personally. If you're selling a product or a service and someone says no to you, they're not saying no to you. They're saying no to your product and service because they may not have seen the value, or maybe they don't need the product, or maybe they cannot wrap their mind around paying that price for the service or product that you're offering. So it's not about you. It's actually never about you when it comes down to it. What it's really about is you figuring out how to get to the next person. And in sales, if you're in business, you're going to find that a lot of people are going to say no. I mean, sales is the highest paying profession because of that. That means that you have more opportunities than ever before, because if someone is going to say no, and someone else is going to say no, and next person, you have to be resilient enough to say, you know what? I believe in what I sell. And then you find more reasons to believe in yourself and believe in what you offer to the marketplace. And so you push harder. You become better. You become wiser. And ultimately, you become stronger in every area of your life. But you have to understand that no does not mean never. Sometimes you follow up with someone a year later, or 2 years later, or even 2 days later, and they come through. A lot of times people say no because of their ego. Maybe it is personal. Most of the time it's not, but sometimes it is personal. They say no to you because they just can't identify with you as a person. Or they want to act like they can afford it, but they really can't. I used to sell cars a long time ago. And I remember my manager telling me that people are either buyers or liars. Because the truth is that a lot of times people come in and drive a car just to test drive it, which is okay. But when you're selling cars and there's 10 people test driving cars and you know, maybe one of them might be a client, you still have to take every single person seriously. You don't just say, hey, I don't know if this person's going to buy, because you never know. A few years ago, I was giving a speech, and I remember, talking to an audience that they loved me. They were infatuated by everything I said. I was shaking hands. I was signing books. I was collecting all these people's business cards. I had a little coaching session with about a dozen people afterwards. This is like way after the speech. And I remember a guy came up to me. He was the most poorly dressed man. Everyone was wearing suits and ties except this guy. This guy had like ripped jeans. He had a sweater on. Later on, I found out through an email that this man wanted me to speak to a Fortune 500 company. Can you believe that? Right? One of my first corporate business deals was with DuPont in Delaware. I remember it like yesterday. And he said, Daniel, you may not have remembered me. You're speaking to hundreds of people, but I want you to come and speak to my people. I want you to have a leadership meeting. My people need a major turnaround. And I thought to myself, man, you really can't judge a book by its cover. You really can't just say, oh yeah, this person's not a client. This person is a client. I remember another time, when I was starting my business at the inception, I wrote down all these names. I took the time to write down all these names of people who might potentially buy my products or service. I think I came up with like 300 names. I'm thinking to myself, every single person here could and should buy. And I remember calling on every person, emailing, texting, all this. And not one of those people bought. I actually have that book in my office. And I think about it very often because sometimes you think the people that are going to buy are not the people that actually do. Right? Some people are buyers or liars. So you have to discern and determine whether or not the people you're dealing with really want to deal with you. And you have to stop choosing people who are not choosing you. And that's the goal. You have to figure out who is who. What is what. Where is where. Why is why. And connect the dots. And a lot of times people can't do that. Because they don't have that vision. To be a great salesperson, to be a great entrepreneur, to be a great hustler in any capacity, you have to push. You have to get rejected. Even in sports, you play basketball, you go up to the rim, you're going to get blocked in the beginning. And then you have to learn how to put your shot up so that it's not blocked, so it goes into the basket. In baseball, same thing. You swing, you miss. It's not, a personal rejection, but it's like, man, it's failure, right? In football, you throw the ball, you overthrow it, you underthrow it. In soccer, you miss the goalpost. A lot of times people reject themselves. And you cannot reject yourself anymore. Actually, self-rejection is the worst form of rejection. Because you're basically cheating yourself. And if you cheat yourself, you beat yourself. You cannot disconnect yourself from your ultimate goal. You cannot say, oh, because I failed once, I'm going to fail again. You're either lying or trying. You're either lying about what you could do, or you're trying to accomplish what you actually need to do. And you're focused wholeheartedly on that goal, on that project, on that desire. And you won't stop until you retire. Because you aspire. And so your frequency has to increase. You need more enthusiasm than ever before. Because the competition is not other people. The competition is you. And confidence has no competition at all. If you're confident about where you're going to go and who you're going to be, no rejection is going to keep you from accomplishing that goal. Because you're going to win. You were born to be a winner. And so I will say this. Focus on the reasons to succeed instead of the excuses to fail. Instead of worrying about why it won't work and why you can't get up and go, start focusing on why you can. Make it a reality and start to change your mentality. As I was growing up, I had this failure approach to everything I did. If the teacher didn't give me, enough respect and attention, I just gave up. I remember math class giving up so many times, failing, because I just felt rejected. And, sometimes our society does that because if you're naturally talented, you're good at something, but someone else doesn't recognize you for that talent, for that skill, for that product, service, whatever it is that you have to offer. Then you feel like, okay, let me just become a victim. Let me put myself in a box. And that's what I did as I grew up. But then I realized, you know what? I got to make a change. It's my responsibility. I realized that I was putting myself in a wrong environment. I thought I had to go to school because I thought there was no other way. So I got my degrees. And then finally I was going for my master's, and I said, you know what? They don't accept me here. They don't accept who I am. They don't accept who I'm becoming. I was on the path of greatness. And I felt like I wasn't being received as much as I could have or should have from the people that were around me. And so that was a big form of rejection. I said, you know what? I need to go to the people who will. And that was a major life-changing point. I realized that the people that the people that I'm looking for are also looking for me. And that's the same thing for you. The people you're looking for are also looking for you. They want you to succeed. They want you to grow. They want you to learn. They want you to develop. But some people don't want to see you grow past them. If you're someone that has that innate ability, if you're driven, you have something within you, and other people know that, then they're going to get jealous. They're going to try to hold you back. They're going to hate. They're going to withhold the information. They're going to keep from you the things that would require you to reach the next level, some of them. I mean, it's evil intention, but we have to deal with the truth as it is. We can't just say, okay, it doesn't happen. It happens. And so you cannot force fit yourself into someone that doesn't accept you for who you are. Even if it's your mother, even if it's your father, your brother, your sister, your wife, your husband, your kids. Well, hopefully not your kids. You should have taught them better. But sometimes there are exceptions. You cannot force yourself to be loved by other people. I mean, I would love to say everyone loves Daniel Alley. I mean, in my mind, I say that. That's my affirmation. Everyone loves me. Everyone loves Daniel Alley. Who doesn't like my work? But to actually believe in yourself, it's a whole different thing. And people are going to criticize your work. They're going to make up all these allegations. They're going to come up with assessments and assumptions and all these responses that you're like, that makes no sense. Where are you getting this from? And you have to say, you know what? They know nothing about what's going on in my house. They don't know what's going on in my mind. They don't know what I write about. They don't know what I think about. They don't know what I'm reading. They don't know how I'm living. They don't even know any of the struggles. They don't know any of the successes, personal struggles. And that's how it is for you, right? Every single person is dealing with a war within them that no one else knows about. Maybe your confidants might know about it, but that's about it. And by the way, every person should have one or two people that they truly trust. That's what I believe. And so, at least, of course, right? You can have 3, 4, 5 people, as many as you want, but at least one person. And hopefully two. And you have to confide in this person. Because when things get rough, when you face big rejections, you will cry. There is no question about that. I remember trying to secure a house. And I'm thinking, I'm going to get this one. This is the one. I drove so far, hours to get to that point. And the guy simply told me, I can't give it to you. It was a personal thing for him. There was nothing wrong. It was personal. I called him, right? I tried my hardest. I did everything. I left no stone unturned. I gave it everything I got. Still said no. Next thing you know, bang. Gateway to a better house. I thought to myself, man, this is incredible. Every time I moved to a new level, I faced a new devil. Every time I reached a higher sphere, I realized that there was more that was there. But there's also the enemy's people, the devil's people, right? They want to try to stop you because they cannot do what you're doing. If you're guided by the Spirit and you're living in the truth, and you know that you accept yourself for who you are and what you're about to become, then someone who hasn't done that is going to try to change that for you because they can't do it for themselves. They're going to say, oh, look at him, he got lucky. Rich people are greedy. Rich people are selfish. Rich people are evil. They're going to justify their failures through condemning yours. Think about that. They're going to discredit you because they may not have been able to achieve anything close to what you have achieved. And that's why you have to be resilient. That's why you have to be persistent. That's why you have to keep pushing. Now, if you go and try one time and you fail, and then you give up after that, what kind of business is that? That's why people fail in business. They don't learn what it takes. They don't give it their all. They face a little rejection. Sometimes they cry to someone that doesn't really support them, and then all of a sudden their dreams are shut down. And that happens to a lot of people, by the way. Maybe you do have a good idea. Maybe you have the money. Maybe you have all the connections. Whatever it is, right? You might have whatever it takes. Everyone has whatever it takes to get started. But then you talk to someone that doesn't really support you, that's actually against you. Maybe they love you personally, but they don't like what you're doing professionally. Okay, well, that's a whole different story right there. You might think, oh, my wife, my husband, my son, my daughter, my parents are going to love me. Your family members, your friends, your neighbors, they might not understand anything you do. I have family members that don't understand anything I do. A lot of them too, the majority. If you ask them what I do, they don't even know. And he runs a business. Okay, that's all they know. But they don't even know what that is because most of them are employees. If you say you run a business, a lot of people are not going to understand that. You know, if you say you create your own schedule, you can make unlimited income, they don't get that. But that's why you have to keep on pushing. That's why you have to keep on nurturing your dream. That's why you have to keep on reading. And that's why you have to keep on succeeding. Push past your limits. I want you to do this. Don't limit your challenges, but challenge your limits. And for the next 3 months, I want you to set a goal. The biggest goal you can think about that is conquerable, and go after it. I don't care how much rejection you have to face. If you got to sell 10 houses in 3 months, go and do it. If you have to propose to this woman that you know that you want to marry, go and do it. If you want to take a trip to some place that you've never been to, and you know that God is telling you, I got to do this, then make it happen. But either way, set a goal, an astronomical goal that you know you can accomplish. Make it a stretch goal, something that is a little out of reach, but you know you can get it. With a little bit of faith, with a little bit of help. Because remember, when you believe in yourself, every single person in this world will believe in you too. My friends, this is Daniel Aldie. I hope you enjoyed this message, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.